And we're back, dear viewers, for this second match of tonight here at the Elite Series 2nd Division Broadcast on Rift Entertainment. Now, still and always, I have Freshtana by my side for tonight. Welcome back, Freshtana.
Yeah, it's nice to be here.
Yeah.
It's always nice to be here. And we saw a pretty wonderful first game. And hopefully we will see a much more wonderful second game, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, kind of bang match here at the start. It was pretty close for quite a bit of time. And now Aurora versus FULLCLEAR. Not gonna lie, my hopes are really high for this matchup. I have high expectations. Both teams giving us a very nice game. And I really hope it's gonna be a banger matchup. And I have no doubt it will be, actually. Both teams won their first match on Wednesday. You saw the matches. What were your takes on those matches?
I just remember we saw Aurora, but I just remember the LeBlanc and not much else, actually. That's pretty sad. But I remember like the full game of FULLCLEAR eSports thing. I remember the full team comp, and it was ridiculous because they had this Chen, Kog'Maw, Emilio, hyper carry with like Mundo jungle, and what exactly was mid lane matchup? I can't quite remember, but like it was just ridiculous. They just run them over because nobody could kill the Kog'Maw, and it was just funny. So that's about it. And I believe, especially because when you look at the team FULLCLEAR eSports, I believe we will see the Kled ban. I believe we will see the Hecarim ban. And yeah, I think we see the same team comp from FULLCLEAR a second time, or maybe we will see something different because Aurora fears that and just doesn't want to play against such an annoying one.
Yeah, so definitely a lot of things to do in the champ select, because you've mentioned they have quite let's say discrepancy between those two champions you've mentioned in terms of pick rate compared to others. We also have Gilgamesh on sides of Aurora, who seems to be playing quite a lot of Cassandra, but has a bit more variety in their play style. And I feel like both teams seem to be more fans of those hyper carries, so I think we'll be seeing quite a few bans in that regard, or quite a few one picks in that regard. Yeah, we should be seeing those pretty early on. Yeah, we already have first few bans. We do have the Hecarim ban. We do have the Cassandra ban against Gilgamesh. So not wanting to let some of those players get their favorite champs, most definitely.
Yeah, everyone wants the right decisions, in my opinion. I believe FULLCLEAR eSports was on blue side last time, and that's why they could just first pick Melio. This game, it's maybe not possible for them, and we will see even a little change with the Mundo being banned. Like they don't want to face that, and they don't want to face the Kog'Maw as well. But that means Hecarim is open for Krebs, and the question becomes, do they just pick it away? Maybe Kremi feels like Hecarim today, or maybe we will see a Hecarim coming out from FULLCLEAR from Gallop. Oh man, I forget it. But there's I talked about Hecarim, but Kled is open. So maybe we see a Kled coming out for FULLCLEAR. Could be the third pick at least, because you don't want to blind pick it, to say it, but you would probably want to pick it before the next bans. So red 3 could be a Kled, but there's Lucian just to pick away Lucian Minion essentially, and there's Viego, so something new from Gallop.
Definitely something new. Meanwhile, Aurora does go with the Gragas. We've seen last game overall very strong at the moment, and also this like pretty strong as flex pick. Even could go to the top, could go to the mid, could go to the jungle. So always a good tool to have in your toolbox here in this League of Legends game.
Yeah, and it's good versus those like short range champions like Lucian and Vigo because they want to get to you, and so you have always the chance to knock them away or knock them into your team because they are not like on like the biggest range. And there is maybe the chase for Syrax, but maybe also for Giga Mesh on the top lane. We will see who wants to play it, but at least Syrax is a chase main, so that could definitely mean that we see him on this pick. And there's Klett, so it's not banned, so why not pick it? And essentially, this is a really, really important game for FULLCLEAR eSports, because if you have an OTP, and OTP always gets banned, and then he is open, if he then not performs, or if the OTP is kind of useless, then teams will lose respect about you. Then they will just leave it open because they know, yeah, it's not strong or something. So you need to show them why they need to ban it. And so this game will be really, really important for FULLCLEAR, just to show this tiger has fangs and not like a toothless cat tiger. So they need to show. I mean, just look at the mouth of Klett. I mean, there are not that many tooths, but at least some. So they need to show that this Klett has won some battles. Jax, Jinx, Ari, and I quite like the Nami ban because Nami Lucian. But the other bans definitely make some sense, and we might see a support now just to still keep the mid lane open. So because we have Chase, we want to see where he is flexed, and we want to see where Kragas is flexed to then get a good mid lane matchup. So that definitely makes sense. And just placing the Blitzcrank together with Lucian just makes a really, really strong 2v2, especially Blitzcrank into Milo is really, really strong. So I quite like this pick.
Yes, then we pick up Ezreal as an AD carry to go along with that. Millia should give them a bit of safety, especially against that terrible hook of Blitzcrank. Could come in handy here. And for now, Aurora, like, pretty poke heavy comp here with that Ezreal. Notably, that does add quite a lot of poke on top of Jason. And we pick up a Jarvan next, meaning that we probably indeed have the flexibility of the Gragas being used here.
Yeah, so it's probably Gragas top lane. And like there could be a funny thing with Klett into Chase. I believe that is not the worst matchup for Klett, so you might just swap him to the mid lane, even though like just not giving the mid lane champion the Klett, but just swapping the top lane player to the mid lane, just because the matchup could be good. But I believe that top lane matchup, especially as a Klett OTP, is fine as well. Kragas has lots of sustain, Klett has inbuilt anti-heal, so that's definitely something, and the Lissandra just can hold her own against Jace. So I believe they got some really solid pickups for them. And just look at the team comp of FULLCLEAR. You really want those first kills for the resets for Viego. And like with Lissandra, just putting someone in one place, or just with the Blitzcrank hooking someone in and just killing him as first target. Even with Klett ult, you just pinpoint on someone. This team comp is really, really strong in just securing this first reset. And with that could definitely work for them to maybe win the game.
Yeah, they do have this very nice early aggression that could be able to put that Viego in a position to get really strong in the late game. However, what I like on sides of Aurora, I'm always a big fan of seeing Jarvan. And he's like this OG jungler that can also keep up and himself set some sort of pace in the early game. So Aurora is not, let's say, naked in these early stages of the game. Same goes with Jace. I mean, he does have double amount of abilities than any normal champion pre-6, so they should be able to answer it also pretty well, especially with a safe bot lane with that Ezreal. Also, they're not like too threatened. So I think there is some nice balance between two teams, and this will, in the end, I think, come out as which team plays the best with their comp.
Yeah, that's right. one big question for me in this draft is the Milio, because usually you want to combine them with like a hyper carry, with the Jinx or with the Kog'Maw, for example, or even with Illusion for hyper aggression. Or I think in LCK the Draven was placed with him, but the Ezreal, like that looks kind of sus in the draft. Because Ezreal is just like the counter pick to Blitzcrank. You can just always E out, even if he gets hooked, he can always just buffer the E, so it's a safe matchup. But Medio Ezreal is just not like the Medio squad you want to draft, right? And then the question becomes, you wanted to draft like Poke, Ezreal, Chase, Kragas, why not having the Karma, for example? And stuff like that. So I believe Aurora went into this draft with just pick Medio and just see from there, and then nothing really fitted together with this Medio. And that's really sad to see. They just wanted to pick it away, essentially. And that could be not the best decision, at least in my opinion. But let's see how they will play it out. If we just look at both team comps, what is essentially like the better one? Who won the draft in your opinion?
Yeah, I think I'm going to give it to FULLCLEAR indeed, because they do have this explosiveness. They have this cohesive explosiveness, you know?
Yeah.
So they have this early game that can go in boom, boom. Once they go in, actually, it's just boom, boom for anyone. I mean, they go in, they put everything on their target, and, well, it's done. And they have this nice curve of, okay, we have the early game, we can have this strong bot lane, and once that Lucian starts falling out of the game, they can just try to convert that lead onto a Diego if they get it, for example, which is a very smooth transition. Meanwhile, on the side of Aurora, I mean, we have this Chase, which is usually really strong in the early, and it's starting to eventually lag, I think, in the late game, because I see the bot lane of Aurora hardly getting ahead, you know?
Yeah.
I think they can, at best, defend it well against the aggressive bot lane Lucian Blitzcrank, but I don't think they'll have a lot of opportunity to get ahead, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Like one thing I wanted to say about the team comp of FULLCLEAR is who wants to like get hooked, or who wants to stop the Klett. Like if this Kragas builds full AP, if he gets hooked, he's dead. Or if he gets Klett ulted in a team fight, he's dead. So nobody can just stand in front of the Klett when he engages. Like, you have no Sion, you have no Malphite, you have no Ornn or something. Someone who can just, yeah, if I get hooked, it's fine. So every single target of Aurora, if he is the front line, he gets popped, then there's the reset, then there's the lost team fight. So I believe they miss a real full tank, and Kragas and Jarvan are kinda tanky. But if Jarvan goes for like full squishy, or even like Prusa, he gets popped, and you have no tank support who can just throw himself into it. And yeah, it's I think that could be a huge miscalculation from Aurora in their draft, essentially.
We will see how that fares in the end in this game, because League of Legends, as always, nothing is set in stone. It always comes down to which team plays better in the end. And yeah, we'll see how they manage with their situation. See how that game goes. FULLCLEAR Esports against Aurora. So one of the newcomers playing against one of the teams from the first spring split this year.
Essentially. And I think both looked strong on the first match day. So and in both won like in a really stompy way. So definitely something to look out for. But this is the level 2 gank.
Gank on the mid lane as Grammy comes in with the EQ onto Mara. Does not even flash because he knows that he's already dead, and that's really good for Xylex as he picks up first blood in this game.
Yeah, and this is the dangerous. This is the danger of Jarvan in the early game. He could go for this level 2. You should always fear it. You should always watch for it, because level 2 Jarvan gank is like, he doesn't do it every single game, but if, oh god, he steals the Raptors.
Jesus Christ!
Syllax is just he's a madman. He is so, I mean, he's such a maddening player, just stealing it, getting first blood. And he is from Germany too, so greetings to all the German fans on the chat, by the way. Just a great place from Germany.
And meanwhile on the top lane we have Lost Lonio putting some damage on to Gilgamesh, and Zanex just keeps on pushing, is out of mana though, so has to be a bit careful there. And here we have classic Kled strats.
Yeah, in the end he got one turret shot, so wasn't too worth after that. But normally you can go for those unmount tower dives, just because you swap the turret aggro after that. And like getting back onto Skull is kinda easy normally, especially in the early game, because no champion has like the burst to just kill you as Kled, if there's no gank at least. And so in the early game, just being dismounted isn't really too bad if you get those winning trades at least.
Certainly. Yeah, and here we see the bot lane of FULLCLEAR. The hook does go to the side, does not hit. And yet Sky Onage is getting quite a bit of damage in his own face. And we seems like we have a situation in the mid lane again, this time for FULLCLEAR Esports, as Gallop is ready to gank. Decides to go in with Mary, who is already pretty low though, as Alex decides to go towards the top side, where Grammy is waiting him. They're able to defuse the situation.
Yeah, they got the flash from Syllax, so that's kinda important. Just because now he needs to be a little bit more careful, especially like, just look at this mid-jungle duo, Viego and Lissandra. They have plenty of stuns, and both have a good reach as well, so you can almost always get on to the chase, and then with those stuns just kill him. So without flash, he is kinda a sitting duck now, and he needs to play really carefully, especially after level 6 of Lissandra.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he is not a champion known for his mobility, especially except running fast, but that's not gonna help a lot if they can stick to him and keep their CC chain going. Be careful, Lunia here decide to go for the aggression onto Gilgamesh, is getting some nice damage out of him. Flash is out, and he flashes after him to get the third auto attack and the kill.
Yeah, and I think Gilgamesh wanted to just dismount him in this lane, so he stayed. Oh, the hook, but in just an instant.
Yeah, interrupting. Yeah, we keep the aggression going for FULLCLEAR, but we shouldn't, as Grammy is coming in with the gank. The EQ is gonna hit, and nobody is gonna fall, and now they can put their attention onto Sky Onage, who's able to retreat with his speed boost.
Yeah, but at the moment, Grammy with a wonderful early game for his team, just getting one gank after the other. Even the mid lane gank, like where they tried to kill Syllax, was good enough to just keep him alive. So that's definitely a good play from him as well. And now with the prio in bot lane and mid lane that just gets this free Drake. And with that, they have a pretty solid early game.
Yeah, Grammy definitely doing God's work here in this early game against FULLCLEAR Esports. Playing really well on that Jarvan.
But getting an early kill on Kled, that could snowball out of control. Because Kled is one of those champions who can always go for solo kills with his own ultimate. There's the ultimate, there's a charge! And there we get Syllax.
To get the kill. This go to him now, 2-0 going back to the lane. But he has the pickaxe, should be able to bully Gilgamesh quite a bit there now. With this item lead. And this is not good because we've mentioned it. Lance Lunio is kind of a Kled OTP, and if he is able to get it his way, it's going to be dangerous for Aurora. But now we have Grammy back on the bot lane. Putting some pressure onto them, but in the meantime, Gallop is taking his red buff.
Yeah, and that's the calculated risk Aurora took in the draft. They just decided against the Kled ban, and now they need to fear the consequences of having the Kled against them, and of course having a fat Kled against them. So, because he just plays wonderfully at the moment. And that could be a dangerous calculation, because this Kled could take over the side lane at least, and maybe even those team fights.
Absolutely, and with Herald spawning more or less soon, yeah, Gallop, Chat has clear going towards the top lane, and with this Kled ahead in the lane, they should be able to put some pressure on it now. Lunetier who gets the hook in, and Nomad is going to pick up the kill on the enemy support. AD carry, sorry.
Yeah, and that's the reason why you pick Blitzcrank against Medio, and there's the gank from Cremmy, but nobody can get caught. So we just have one more kill for full clear. And yeah, that's the big strength of a Blitzcrank. Because Medio just can't do anything against the hook, and he can't really peel him. I mean, he can just throw a shield and a Q, and that's it. And in the end, his ADC, if he can't sidestep this hook, is always dead. And if you hook Medio, he is also dead. So if you have a good Blitzcrank player, Medio first pick isn't really the way.
Yeah, and the situation in the bot lane really bad for Aurora right now, as FULLCLEAR was able to shove that wave in. And I mean, they're already pretty behind in experience, we saw. Lontier was still level 5, lost some XP even with that wave. FULLCLEAR is gonna come back just in time with those additional items, and from that point on, the Lucio should be able to start popping off, or at least being a big threat on that bot lane.
Yeah, and I wonder, I mean, we just saw this little mid lane gank where Sylax needed flash, but I wonder why this mid lane gank didn't came like faster, because you had gotten the flash, and then you have 5 minutes to gank him again, and if you don't use this time window where you have 5 minutes to gank someone, then it's always like questionable, at least in my opinion. Why not just repeat gank such a easy to gank lane, especially with like Lissandra being level 8 now. I mean, she has level 6 since like 3 or 4 minutes, so just using that is always an option, but they decided against it, and just trying to farm a lot. And just look at the farm numbers. This Viego has almost the most farm behind Nomad. I mean, this Viego is just farming every single camp he sees.
And overall, FULLCLEAR is ahead on almost every lane in terms of clear. Now we have the gang on the mid lane as Gallop is coming in with the flash. We're gonna get the Lonti back in there. He's able to escape a bit as Grammy is going in with the Cataclysm, blocking the Reza of FULLCLEAR. Gilgamesh tries to go for Exploding Cast, but is gonna be able to pick up the kill as the True Shot Barrage does put a lot of damage on Nomad, and they turn the situation around for their bot lane.
Yeah, that was a really, really good placed inlane gank by Cremmy. And then of course the teleport usage was really insane as well, but now Sylax may be in trouble.
Yeah, as Last Lunio is coming into the mid lane to get a lot of damage on him, yeah. And once you're encased in that ice, there is no way away for the mid laner of Aurora. So FULLCLEAR at least does get something back from that bad situation they've had on the bot lane, as Lunio is picking up a kill on the mid lane.
Yeah, and we see a little in-game pause, like you saw, but that's not too bad. We will just talk over this bot lane play, because it's like there's like this saying: if you don't know where the enemy jungler is, you do not go for plays, and that's exactly what we saw bot lane. They went for play, and then oh no, Jarvan was in the brush, and like but of course, it's always easier to say than to do, because you never know where the jungler is most of the time. So sometimes you need to go for those calculated risks, and especially if you have your own jungler next to your bot lane, then why not go for something? And in this time, I think the biggest problem was that there came instantly the teleport from Gilgamesh, and with that, especially like this combo with Ezreal ult and Kragas ult, just the Kragas ult, like he sidestepped it, Norman sidestepped it at the turret, but because of that, he couldn't sidestep the SU ult, and after that, he was so low that Gilgamesh just thought, okay, I can just one-shot you. And then he just went in it with the flash body slam. So I think that was the biggest problem, this really, really well-placed teleport there from Gilgamesh. And I think we saw that Kled moved to the jungle, but he just came too late. But then they used the Kled movement in the bot side to go for this mid lane play against Sylax, and that's exactly what I like to see. Not that I like to see that Sylax dies, but I like to see that you punish like a flashless chase in the mid lane, because why should you get his flash and not use it? So it's really easy to get kill with Lissandra ult with Kled. So really easy play there. And just as third kill now for Kled. That's really, really strong from our Kled OTP. And with that, if he gets some more, he could be definitely a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, and it's pretty funny because his ultimate, it kind of looks like he uses his mount as a snowball and runs on top of it. It's not Nunu, but it's almost there. And definitely, it's got some great footing to like further snowball into this game. And yeah, you've mentioned it. I also really like the way AURORA is communicating currently in this game, taking the plays as they come and, well, making the most of it, but also like not letting yourself go for full clear, because they still were able to somehow manage something out of that play by having the Kled coming to the mid lane. So it's not pure loss. And I definitely like what we're seeing currently. This is really promising for the rest of the game, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And what I want to see from this Kled especially is to not do like the same mistake like we saw from Pertinax Wednesday, or even from Once Upon a Team today, that we have like a split pusher who doesn't use his split push power. I mean, Kled is maybe not the fastest split pushing champion with his W, he is, but besides that, he can't really take down those turrets like the Quen would do. So he is kind of more like this charging, engage cruiser who wants to sit with the team, but they really need to decide that at the right spots. Because if you have such a powerful split pushing champion right now and he has 3 kills, then try to use that. Try to use his power in the 1v1 and the 2v1 maybe even, because I think it's the most 2v1s he could even win right now. And use this power to get something on the flip side of the map with a blitzcrank hook and stuff. So they definitely should use his whole toolkit, and then of course find those engages. Like I said, nobody can tank the Kled ult right now. So you can always just burst down one target with the whole crew, get a reset, and get a winning teamfight out of it.
Yeah, and even in later stages of the game, I think it's always going to be pretty strong. On the sides of AURORA, we have quite a lot of squishy champions, and quite a few do not have an answer against such an ultimate. I mean, something like a Jace, something like Emilio, they're still pretty vulnerable to this. You can easily get charged by him and then all of the damage. So if they keep that Kled rolling here, this can be a very terrific weapon. And I think AURORA will have to find a way to stop him in his tracks, but we will see how they handle that situation in a bit as we're back in the game, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, and there we see the Kled with the 3 kills. So, and he has now his Raven, a Hydra. And we even see that he will go to the bot lane because there's the Drake spawning soon. So you want, normally in League of Legends, play with your fat carry, because the fat carry can carry a team fight. So just play around your best or your strongest member, and in this case, move your Kled to the team. You have your strongest member there. He is on a power spike. He is the second one to complete, the third one to complete, the fourth one to complete a full item. Oh my god, too many people with full items. And now the Drake is maybe gone, so
Oh, but now it's Mary who's getting caught in love damage falling onto them. However, good for FC is that Gilgamesh is a bit late to the party, but now he's there and able to support his team as Lunio is already very low. They pick up the shutdown on the enemy clan. Really good for Grammy, as Aurora can now start that Drake off right.
Yeah, maybe even engage on the bot lane. Ooh, crap. Doesn't connect. But they have the Herald.
It's good reflex of putting it down, forcing Aurora to kind of backtrack, clear it before they can get to the Drake. Maybe they're able to then do something. So Lunio is respawning, or maybe at least, yeah, do something on that top lane. Gilgamesh doesn't have TP nor does Sylax, so nobody will be able to stop the push there if Lunio comes up in time.
Yeah, and do you know why FULLCLEAR lost this team fight? Because Kled had no ult and Lissandra had no ult, because the ult were still on cooldown from this mid lane catch. And because of that, Lissandra needed to get out of there as fast as possible. So she flashed and used her claw, so she wasn't in a team fight. And then, of course, Kled got just one shot, because just look at his items. Yeah. He's basically a class cannon right now, and in the 5v5, he can't really survive as long as some other people. And that's why they caught him, and that's why he lost a big shutdown. And now even 2 Drakes for Aurora.
Yes. I have to say they played this really well. Especially getting that catch on Mera there. Put them in a really good position, because then FULLCLEAR was caught off guard, kind of. They were in this disadvantageous position, and then by the time they were able to react, Gilgamesh was already there. Although he had to walk all the way down from the top lane. Well played from Aurora, and here once again we see that their communication is just on point this game.
Yeah, that's really, really good right now from them. But nothing is lost for FULLCLEAR. But if we just look at both team comps, they both kinda don't have those classic scaling champions, right? So they are both really, really strong in the mid game and in those little skirmishes in the early game. And nobody of them really scales intensively, at least. With Milio, you have a classic scaling champion, and of course, I would say Kled as a side laner scales a little bit better than Kragas maybe, but still both teams have more of those mid-game team comps who want to snowball, and because of that, this game isn't lost just yet with this some gold advantage here from Aurora.
Yes, very small. They decide to go for the siege on the mid lane. This is one of the things that Comic Cells really good at. Once they have the footing somewhere, they can just get some damage out on FULLCLEAR. Prepared to get the slight edge in terms of health. Now they can start off the Herald. Yeah, and with those Qs, keep that Blitzcrank low. Yes, FULLCLEAR decides to go for the engage here with the TP behind him from Mera as they go all in onto them. Insane is gaining quite a lot of damage, so is Luthier. But Grammy is picking up the kill onto Nomad, and they keep on pushing as now Sky Owenich is trying to flee from Xylax, but is gonna fall at his hands. Now the res up. FULLCLEAR is gonna pick up that kill on Insane, but Lunio himself will also die in the process. Mera in their backline is in a tough spot, but able to pick up the kill on Xylax. This is just a here and there going between the two, as now Gallop joins in to help his mid laner with the root. Should be able to get Grammy out of the equation, but he does not have ult with the passive. No, he's gonna die from the turret. It's now Mera picks up the kill. And that's one the fight. Goddamn.
And it was a 4v5 trade, more or less. Like, nobody survived except this Lissandra. And like we saw, both teams are really close in gold. Both teams are really close in like terms of team composition, and that's the reason why both teams trade evenly.
Oh no! Like, and the shutdown.
But two teleports, Kled and Xylax came there, and in the end, they might get a second catch here.
This fight is a gift that keeps on giving, as Xylax now under the turret is gonna get some damage. Luntier tries to pick up Sky Owenich, but he's able to sidestep that Q. And man, what a messy fight.
They just got another kill for themselves, and Drake is spawning in 1 minute, and you know what it means. We have another team fight upcoming. Just because those two teams want blood and kills. And like it was a really split fight at this Herald pit. I believe Lissandra and Kled tried to get into the backline. Meantime, especially the lot of poke kinda kills Skyonage and Nomads there in their own backline. And then Galop was somewhere else. And yeah, in the end, especially with the Lissandra passive, they could claim some kills. And now Drake is spawning in 20 seconds. So, Kled ultimate, they tried to catch someone on the sideline.
Yes, Gilgamesh is here on the bot lane all alone. They're 4 onto him with the hook. Should be able to confirm that kill on the bot lane. Puts them in a numerical advantage, especially also in general in the positional one as they pick up the vision around that dragon pit. However, Aurora is not going to let them do as they please as they push on the mid lane with the Herald. Going to pick up the 2 turrets in there, get a 3rd charge on that inhib turret. FULLCLEAR now. They did clear the Drake, need to back as they lost an inhib turret. This is not good at all for them.
Yeah, it's just really good side cross-map play from Aurora. Just trading this first Drake for FULLCLEAR, which is not that special, for a lot of gold. And that is really good played by them. Just after this one catch, they knew they couldn't contest the dragon, so just going for turrets instead. And like there was like the great value of the second Herald basically. Normally you say first Herald has more value because you get like the platings with the first Herald, and the second Herald usually is just 1 turret. But in this case was like 2 or 3 turrets and like lots of gold and even like its last charge at the inhib. So this second Herald had a lot of value for Aurora.
And one of these turrets was first turret as well, so quite a lot of value. Plus mid lane is completely open now, like absolutely open. Not a single turret in sight there. And this leaves Aurora quite a lot of moving ground because now they don't need to put a lot of pressure on that mid lane. They can focus on the side lanes and get those ahead in terms of turrets.
Yeah. That's true. And now we might see this matchup what I was talking about in Champs. Like normally Kled should be fine against Chase, but he is pretty low. And now they try to get Gilgamesh with good flash there. They get him probably. What a play by Gallop. I'm sorry for the play-by-play, but what a play by Gallop.
Absolutely. Picked a good opportunity, and this allows them to get a push in on that bot lane, reclaim some turrets, reclaim some ground, because on the top lane, for example, we can see Zylex making use of his range advantage there. It's kind of pushing Lost Lunia back a bit here, and was able to also pick a 4th turret for his team. Now Aurora going for the catch, but very nice use of the blast cone from Galop.
Yeah, he just knows his jungle, right? And now Kled tries to ult.
This goes on to Zylex, forced to flash away with flash behind him as that Blitzcrank goes in with the hook. The kill is secure, and that's a shutdown going to the Kled player of FULLCLEAR Esports.
Yeah, wonderfully played. And there you can see the big problem as Chase against Kled. The ult will hit basically. After that you will get marked by the cube probably and by one of the charges. And even if you just throw him away, as Chase, he can always just charge back onto you, so you can basically not escape from Kled, and that's why this matchup at least on sideline is pretty rough to play for Chase, especially if there's a Blitzcrank as well. So we just see why this Kled main usually doesn't get Kled competitively, but in this game he got it, and he looks really solid on him.
Absolutely. Now moving to that bot lane to stop Gilgamesh. Meanwhile, Mara is taking that top turret, first turret for FULLCLEAR Esports, as they start reclaiming ground and wrestle their way back into a better position in this game against Aurora.
And we probably see like the 1-4 around the Baron, but Drake is spawning in 1 minute, so we might see the full map swap now with 2 top laners on the top lane and the team on the bot lane just across. There's the Drake spawning. But maybe even Kled will try to group just because he is the big initiator for his team. So maybe there's no split pushing required for this maybe second team for full clear. Could be a soul point for Aurora as well. And we already see all 5 members of Aurora playing around this dragon with a little split push of Kled, so he might get this tier 1 botline turret. Now Gigamesh will defend it by now. But this is definitely intense, and like there could even be like this big trade Baron for Drake for one of those teams. Because if one team fully commits for one objective, why not take the other? So let's see how they will dance.
Yes, and FULLCLEAR didn't not show themselves for a bit, and I think Aurora got a bit afraid they were doing Baron, decided to rotate themselves towards it to see if something's going on, but they also tread very carefully, because when you don't see the enemy team in this kind of situation, well, you're afraid of falling into a trap, right? So both teams are very careful, but Aurora decides to initiate on that Drake. Have to be careful as FULLCLEAR ESPORTS is just around the corner and they don't have a jungler. He's being kept busy on the mid lane, and now Aurora is completely split as FULLCLEAR ESPORTS is able to go to that Drake as a unit and pick it up for themselves. But they should disengage here as they go all in onto Nomad Grammy, putting a lot of damage on the enemy AD carry. He gets stunned, however, and Aurora keeps the push going. The damage is there on Sky Ownage, but FULLCLEAR ESPORTS is able to barely for some escape.
Yeah, what a heist there. They just escaped everything, even Nomad with the flash coming out of the Cataclysmus. But of course, now they need to get back to top lane. And there comes the double teleport, so they want to secure this Baron as well. But they don't have the culling, neither they have the charge. So 2 important ultimates at the moment are missing, of course. But the Cataclysmus as well, as the big barrel is down. So
Yes.
2 big ultimates as well for Aurora. And now the Baron dance begins, but the debuff from the Baron makes Aurora weaker, so they don't want to be picked up in such a fight. Oh, what a poke.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, especially since this would be still a very dangerous fight for them to engage. Yes, Mara still has ultimate. Prison Tomb is up, and this can be a big game changer. It's such an all-out fight at the Baron pit, because denying someone a few seconds in that fight can be dangerous, especially Gallop also still had it, so we're in a very good position to take that fight for esports. And yeah, as I said, slowly wrestling their way back on top in this game against Aurora. We're currently still kind of leading the dance, but not so much as they were earlier.
And what I want to see from FULLCLEAR are just those full engages by Kled, just getting one card, just getting the reset for Viego, because that's what they drafted with the Lissandra, with the Kled, with the Viego essentially. And we didn't really see 5-on-5 team fight. We saw like this little team fight where 9 people died, but it was just many split fights. And then we saw like this big heist at the Dragon where they just escaped 5v5. But we didn't see a single Kled charge into 5 people with his whole team coming behind him. And they need to be quick with that, because they play against a poke comp, and the poke comp, if it has time to poke, then all those members like the Blitzcrank and like the Lucian will just being poked. Oh, now Gallop maybe in trouble, but now he gets out. Culling gets being pulled, but in the end nothing really happens.
Yes, but that's a very threatening ability. Out of their way, as Aurora is trying to look here for the good engage to get that Baron. The poke is falling in, and FULLCLEAR ESPORTS has to be very wary of those Jace keys, because they deal a lot of damage. And if they lose health, that's the cue for Aurora to go all in with, for example, Cataclysm.
Yeah, true. you know, the best thing against Poke is hard engage, and FULLCLEAR has hard engage, but they do not really utilize it at the moment, at least. And both teams are playing the waiting game essentially, and they maybe wait for the third Drake. I don't know, because nobody really builds up the Baron vision, for example. Nobody. They play essentially Aram, and sometimes someone goes to the side lane right now. And now they send some members of FULLCLEAR in the base and try to burst down this Baron, and that's really quick. But FULLCLEAR knows about it with the sneaky ward and gets one hook.
And there comes a hook. They burst down Gilgamesh. Meanwhile, New is in the middle of Aurora, buying some time for the rest of the team to join in. And here we have Gallup with the double kill as he has the 4. Triple kill goes to him. Quadra kill even. And is that the Panther for Gallup? No. Nomad is picking up Grammy's kill. Oh, I miscounted. Never mind.
It's just a triple. Anyway, but yeah. 4 kills for the Baron, and that's really worth it, because it's just the Baron buff on one member. It's just on Milio, and they even get this mid lane turret probably, and basically even the third Drake, and that's Dragon Soul. So that's definitely worth it. If, for example, a split pusher would have gotten the last Baron buff, then there's always like the potential of split pusher at least getting a turret with the Baron, but with just Milio having it, it's not too bad for FULLCLEAR, and they essentially got this third Drake now, and with that the soul point, and now they have always a big threat, and just stacking those Infernal Drakes basically just means that they get a second Rabadons. I mean, Lissandra already built Rabadon second. I mean, that's maybe not the best item build, in my opinion, on Lissandra, but she just basically gets a second Rabadon if she gets all 4 Infernal Drakes. So a lot of power, and just look at Kled. I mean, he will have tons of AD. I mean, 15% of bonus AD just because of Drakes. That's huge.
Yeah, and this added quite a bit to FULLCLEAR's explosiveness, and I think we can safely say that now they've successfully been able to pick up the dance here, and they're starting to set the pace here for Aurora. Find themselves in a bit of a bind, need to find a way out, try to use the bit of Baron buff they have on Milio, but they have to be careful because they're 1 hook away of a disaster.
Yeah, and it's always a dance with those 2 teams, and who engages first, who gets maybe poked down. Oh, there could be an engage. But let's get out.
Yeah, Lascone saving his butt there. With Mary on the side, they were wary of something. Something's not right. We're able to suss that out. Fall back a bit, not get too greedy. Pick up that inhib. Should fall back now.
And the shock blasts hurt, man. Nomad can't play the game if he gets shock blasted once. Now they move to the top lane, getting the second tier 2 turret. Or at least they hope to get it. With Milio not having the Baron buff anymore, they can at least slowly siege it, but maybe not fast enough.
With the damage on Merit, very nice exploding cars. Is forced to use the ultimate on themselves. Gallup is starting to stay very low, falling back. First one to fall here at the hands of Aurora as they keep the push going. Put a lot of damage onto Nomad, who's next to fall down. So is Lunia. They pick out most of their damage. She does now Merit all alone. Will not be able to defend that. And Aurora picks back up in this game.
Yeah, and basically it could be even game. I mean, Lissandra has some amount of wave clear, but it will be hard for her to really clear all of those minions and defend those turrets, especially with a teleport.
Yes, and all alone, against something like a Joven who has so much aggression, yourself don't have the safety of their ultimate. That's a lot of damage already falling in as Gilgamesh goes in. Mera is defending this pretty well, but 1v4, it's not enough. They're able to pick up a kill, but die in the end. That's ace for Aurora. as they now open up Nexus, but have to be careful as the rest of FULLCLEAR esports is starting to respawn. And they decide to go for the kill hunt. Gilgamesh is not going to be able to escape, or maybe yes, with the exploding cask there. And the blast cone. Last Lunio now coming in from the side, trying to pick up kills himself. Insane is trying to flee, getting very low. Here, AURORA is escaping really well here, but here comes Sky Owner's going to pick up that kill. And yeah, in the end, Gilgamesh is able to escape.
Yeah, but they need to clear those. Oh man, they found both wards. That's really important. So no more backdooring coming from Sydax and Gilgamesh, for example. So FULLCLEAR is still in the game. 1 minute for the Soul. And with Soul, maybe just winning one more teamfight could lead to victory. But we see something really, really important, or we saw something really, really important. This Guardian Angel on the Jarvan. Because I talked about who should face check the Kled ultimate, who can face check the hooks, for example. And just having a member with a Guardian Angel, essentially, makes him a full tank because you cannot kill him and you cannot get reset from Regal because he's unkillable. And now we even see like Sonya's building by Gilgamesh is really, really important because then he can take those as well. So we essentially create a big juicy front line for this engage to survive it.
Yeah, and they decide to take initiative here onto Sky Owner. She's getting a lot of damage, dying really quick. Now it's Lunia in the middle of them against them. Very nice exploding cask once again from Gilgamesh as AURORA is able to put the end to this game by defeating FULLCLEAR in the last team fight. A straggler falls down. Now Mary once again all alone, but this time no turrets to have the mid laner of FULLCLEAR as Grammy is starting to finish off Nexus. And AURORA should be able to pick up this win without any issue.
Yeah, really, really well played. AURORA going 2-0 this week with this victory against FULLCLEAR. And essentially, and that's really important, they showed they showed us that Kled is beatable. So maybe some other teams will not ban this Kled because we already saw he can't solo carry those games, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. It is manageable for an enemy team, so take notes, take notes. Definitely something you can play around. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we still have 2 games ahead of us. Next one being our very own Riftsloths going up against Jormagang. I think that's more or less how you pronounce it. They have a cool logo, it's a dragon. Game should be starting at 20:55, so we'll probably be heading into a 6-minute-ish break. And see you then for Game 3 of tonight here at the Elite Series 2nd Division. See you soon.
Salut, ich bin der Daniel und das ist der Nali. Und wir wissen nicht, wenn du Summoner Stance so laufen wird. Kommt mit.
Spiel Summoner Stance bei diesem League of Legends Turnier, Mod.
Oh nein, das hab ich gekillt. Guck, kein Bock mehr auf League. Ciao.
Beweis den Treffsicherheit bei diesem Bierpunkt-Turnier.
Oh, genre de so gewonnen, das ist kein Spaß.
Oder genieße flotten Abend mit der Community.
Eine Straße, viele Bäume. Ja, das ist eine Allee, 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 Allee.